The title that I've chosen for my film is The Devil's Will. This is a very common title that an audience would associate with a horror short film, as the main word of the title, devil, is one of the top connotations for horror. Most horror films have short, snappy, and effective names that help hint at what is in the film without giving anything away, such as other horror movie titles like Sinister and Insidious. Other common horror conventions that I've kept and used in my film is the stereotypical scenario of a new couple that has moved into a new house, which seems to be haunted. Even though this scenario may be slightly overused, it is still a classic and something that the audience love and are willing to see over and over again. However, the conventions that I did not conform to were the traditional house in the middle of nowhere or in a small town. The main reasoning behind this is that I did not have access to a house that was in that location slash setting, which I felt made the film lose a little bit of the ambience that I was trying to create, but the house I did use still worked well anyway. Another convention that I have noticed from both full-length feature horror films and short films is that they generally keep to one setting or location, which helps the horror film flow better and makes it more effective, and also it helps the audience be able to follow the story more smoothly and to not let them get confused by numerous settings. For my film, I used different mise-en-scenes, which help create the most suitable atmosphere and look for the short horror film. Location. I used one location, which was a relatively big house. The rooms I used were the living room to help show a sense of normality and helps give the perception that everything is fine, as the living room is very homey, which just draws away any suspicion that anything is wrong. The other room that I used was the hallway, which in a way acted up as a setup for the start of new scenes in the film, and also for some of the jump scares and kills that were featured in the film. They normally started somewhat in the hallway as well. Another room that I used was the garage, which in my opinion was a very good fit in terms of the creepy feel that it gave off, and the general darkness and slightly rough look of the garage fitted well with the horror genre and the aesthetic look I was going for. Props. I did not use many props for this film. The prop that I did use was a mask that the figure of the film wore, which helped give life to the character and made the whole concept and appearance of the character more realistic. Another prop that I used is one that is a must in a horror film, is a type of weapon, and the weapon that we chose to use was a hockey stick. Shows a sense of brutality, as a hockey stick is a very vicious item to use to kill someone, as the pure force you would need to use it, which helped give the effect that the devil is supposed to be strong and have all this strength and would be able to do something like that. Costumes. For the main character, the devil, slash husband of the film, he wore a grey shirt and black trousers. The reason why we went for this look was to help deter any suspicions that the audience may have had that he had any links to being the devil or the figure in the film, as he in that style of clothing just seems like a normal, typical male, hard-working man. Costume changes. The first one was a simple grey jumper with black jeans, and the second look was a purple sweater dress. These looks were simple, and it helped show that Jess, the devil's wife, newlywed, who works hard, who's at home, and also the second costume change, the dress, it helped to show her youth and keeps the impression that she is just a normal person who is expecting guests. For the two friends, they were very casual wear. The first friend wore grey hoodie and jeans, and the second friend wore a purple t-shirt and jeans. Once again, just to show that they are just the typical normal young males who are going to someone's house to hang out and nothing more. All these outfits, in some way, are convention to horror films, as normally the main characters in horror films are dressed in normal clothes to represent the reality of normal life. The last character was the figure, who wore a black top and jeans to match the darkness or aura that the figure should be giving off and should have, and also it matches with the mask that the figure wore, which is black. With the figure's costume, I do think it did apply to the classic conventions of the scary character in horror films using a mask to help bring a character to life. Is a very classic convention for horror films to use, as seen in the movie Saw with Jigsaw, or in one of the most acclaimed horror films back in the day, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where they used a leather-faced mask for the killer, which brought that character to life and made it that much scarier. A lot of the shots that we used in the film were medium shots, purely during scenes that there was conversation, that were conversation based, and general scenes such as entering a room or greeting each other. I think the medium shots worked extremely well for the conversations between the characters, as it helped the scenes and the film flow and look better. I used different shots, although, during the death scenes, and some of those shots included a close-up of one of the friend, Danny, being strangled, and having the camera follow the movement of his lifeless body falling to the ground. The use of this shot just helped the whole scene become more realistic and help the audience feel like they were more engaged in that scene. Another shot, which was kind of an experimental shot, and I tried to reenact the wormhole shot, which was used when the devil's wife, Jess, finds the friend's, Danny, his body. The reason I used this shot was to be able to get part of Danny's body in the shot, which were just his legs. And I did this to show that the two characters' reactions when looking at the body to make sure that the audience know that they are reacting to his lifeless body that is on the floor. Most of the shots during the death scenes were short and snappy, so it gave a sense of panic and the rush of characters trying to get away from the killer, and brought the movement and struggle to life, and also helped the audience feel more a part of the scenes. The storyline for my film is about a newlywed couple who have moved into a new house together and are planning to invite their friends round for a little get together. Their friends arrive and everything seems um, normal at first, until Jonathan's the devil in this film starts to act strangely and becomes very distant with everyone. This soon becomes clear when Jonathan starts to kill people and the figure joins in with um, him, which shows that he's evil and he is the devil. The film continues to follow the deaths of each characters until the killing of the devil's wife, who is the last kill of the film and is killed brutally. The storyline itself is a very conventional storyline in terms of a horror film. It has all the typical warning signs and scenarios that horror films usually have, which keeps the magic of a horror film alive. The opening scene of the film is the devil slash husband coming into the house from work and greeting his wife. This setup shows and helps keep the appearance of normality of the atmosphere and the characters in the film, with the general chit chat that they have together. It then follows into the introduction of the friends who have come to the house. In the first few minutes of the film, all the characters except from the figure are introduced, which helps set the scene up quickly and allows the audience to have a chance to connect with the characters and think of their own opinions of the characters. The middle bit of the film consists of the first introduction of the figure, which helps to set up the further killings that will follow in the film and help build the audience interest and curiosity into the film, wanting to see what happens next and wanting to know more about the figure. The ending of the film is the killing of Jess, who is the devil's wife, which is quite a rushed scene in a way, but there is more context to that death, as it's a more personal killing, as after all it was the devil's wife. The film ends in the same way, just Jonathan the devil killing his wife, which helps, I think, keep the audience on their seat and leave them wanting more, maybe even for a sequel, that kind of thing. The genre of my short film is horror. The horror aspect can be seen quite early on when the normality of the characters, the setting, starts to become a little bit more questionable. There are a lot of scenes that promote the horror genre, such as the numerous jump scares that occur in the film, and also the deaths, which have people scared and on the edge of their seats, which is the point of horror films. The effects that I used in editing is the slight play around with lighting of some shots to help set the mood for the film. That is typically used in horror films to show that something bad is going to happen or the mood has suddenly started to change. One of the main effects that was used in the process of editing was applying different sound effects when there were odd noises in the house, and also definitely the sounds that were used during the jump scares and the deaths to just help the audience know that something is coming up, which is something that is used in almost every single horror movie. Also, the addition of adding the music and those sound effects during the various death scenes and jump scares help make um, the scenes come to life, as it adds tension and excitement that had the audience hanging from their seats waiting to see what happens next. The simpler effects that are just common effects used in editing is transitions for some of the shots, such as dissolve and phase, and using jump cuts when editing. For my ancillary task, I chose to create a film poster and a magazine review. The combination between my main product, the film, and the film poster were extremely effective, as they both go hand in hand with each other. The film poster, in my opinion, helped sell the actual film more to the audience, as it was a simple poster that gave you everything you needed to know without ruining or giving anything of the actual film away. The poster itself helped make the reality of the film more realistic, and the poster was sleek and professional, which helped give the actual film the impression of um, it being enticing and appealing, like the film poster. The second ancillary, which was the magazine review, was effective with the main product, as it helped give a more depth insight into the film and help audiences make up their mind on whether or not they would want to go and see the film. Also, the review helped promote the film and encouraged or influenced the audience to go see it. And it also helped the film's reputation grow by the positive review it was given. The overall response I got from my audience feedback was quite a very positive response. All those who participated in the feedback enjoyed the short film. I learned that the genre of horror was conveyed well in the film from the responses that I was given, as none of them knew what the genre was when they first started watching it, so they kind of picked that on their own. Although there was there were some people who also mixed in thriller with the genre, as they thought it was a combination of both horror and thriller, which was an interesting response to get. I also learned from my feedback that the music that was used in the sound effects were very suitable and helped bring the whole film to life, creating the perfect tense and necessary atmosphere for the film. They also said that without the music, they felt that the film wouldn't be as near as good as it was. A lot of the people said that they were able to follow the storyline of the film and kind of get an impression of what the film was about. However, a few did mention that they would prefer to have more of a background story to help show how and why the devil was in the house and why there was killings. But in general, they could follow the typical sense of the storyline, but they wanted more context to the actual film. During the feedback, those watching were surprised and did not expect the husband, Jonathan, to become the killer slash devil, which is what we aimed for from the beginning, as we wanted the audience to be surprised and feel unexpected in the film. Feedback also showed that the various death scenes were the best part of the film, as they were filmed and edited together well, which made the film more enticing to watch and gave more depth to the film. And we did also ask a question of what was the worst part of the film, and nearly all responses didn't think there was a bad part in the film. Another thing that I learned from my feedback is that the lighting in the film could be better and maybe could alternate between light and dark. This helps set the mood for the film a little bit more. The new media technology that I've used on this project is one of them is the camera that I used to film the short film on. I used a Canon DSLR to film the film, which was a camera that I've never used before. The quality of this camera is one of the best, and one of the best that I personally have ever used, and it helped the film look more professional and sharper. This camera was also good because of the various settings that enabled us to tweak the lighting and exposure on set, which was very useful. And also it gave us a chance to manually focus the camera and kind of have our way with it. The software that I used to edit the main construction and the evaluation, this evaluation on, was the program called Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a program that I've only used once before, so I was a little bit rusty and still learning how to use some of the features of the program. The program itself is a very good program to use, as it has many different effects and tools which are very useful when editing the main construction, as it allowed us to help add numerous things such as sound, lighting, etc., to help create perfect atmosphere for some of the shots and scenes. In terms of research, a new use of media platform / technology that I used was the website Vimeo. Vimeo is a platform for any level of filmmakers to upload their work, and is one of the top places to upload and view short films. This website was great to use, as I was easily able to find award-winning short films that were of the horror genre, which allowed me to analyze them in depth and help apply some of the techniques and conventions to my own film. Another website that I did end up using was a website called Pinterest. I used this website when creating my ancillary tasks to find different examples of film posters and magazine layouts, which then helped me apply this to my end product.